Hey, thanks, church, for joining us again for our daily devotion time. I want to talk to you today about tithing and giving. If you've been a churchgoer for any length of time, you understand the importance of giving back to your local church. We know that it sets the budget for salaries and upkeep of the facilities at church, perhaps for missions and other ministries. We know the importance. But the first thing to note is it's hard for pastors and leaders to talk about this subject. They say it could drive good people away. And we certainly know that non-Christians do not understand this act or thought of giving. That doesn't make any sense. In fact, they may even not attend or be a part of who God is because of the thoughts were presented to them in an inappropriate manner. But what do you think about tithing and giving? Some would say tithing is 10% exactly of what I make in any given pay period. Some would say it's not about monies at all. It's about my talents or giving back to my community or my church. I participate in a ministry or a mission. That's my tithing or my giving. Some would argue in the midst of this budget talk and tithing that is it a gross amount that I give or the net amount that I give? What about that? Some would say it doesn't have anything to do with that at all. It's all about your heart, and it's an act of worship, and it's really not a set amount. It's what I petition the Lord about and ask Him what He'd have for me to give. Well, what do we think about all that? I think it's most of those, or if not all of those, save for this thought of being exactly 10%, and it's all about a religious act. Where's my heart in the matter of tithing and giving? Well, what do you think about that? I want you to consider maybe a new way to think about giving. And maybe you've heard of this before, but as I was plodding through the book of Exodus, which I use the word plodding on purpose because if you've read Exodus, especially at the back end of it, man, it's tough to get through. It's about commands and all these rules and regulations that God gave His people, the Hebrews. In fact, some people would say, is this even relevant to New Testament Christians? But in the midst of that, we have Moses, and he's about ready to give the final plague to Pharaoh and the Egyptians. And this command given by God and told to Moses, he said, tell the people to put blood on the doorpost of their homes. And what that would signify is there's going to be an avenging angel at night that's going to come over these houses, and if he sees the blood, he will save you and your family. If you choose not to do that, the plague will be against you. The avenging angel will take your firstborn in your family. Why the firstborn, I always wondered. What's the deal with the firstborn? Later on we have the 10 Commandments in Exodus 20, and we know those commandments. One of them is, you will have no other gods before me. This thought that He should be first, and He should be only. He should be the God that we choose first. That's interesting to me. A little further down, we have more rules and regulations that's put upon the Hebrew people. And one of them is, God says, whatever you make out of the ground or harvest, give to me the first portion of your fruits and of your labor of digging up the crops. That's interesting. And again, a little further in those chapters, he says, give me the best of your first fruits. When we got to Albany, I had a strawberry garden, and it's gone crazy, man. Strawberries grow everywhere in this valley, and I had to pull them out and throw them out. But one of my favorite things to do is to go out there and see if there's any strawberries out there, and I'll spread them out, and I'll get the bunch together, and I'll pick the best of the fruit and just mack them right there. I love the best of the best. But so does God. He likes the best from us, our best effort. our best time, the best of our monies. You know, I'll be the first to admit I struggle in the area of tithing. I know that what I should do, and sometimes I fall short. So I'm going to be honest with you with that. Even in the Dave Ramsey-ness of me, if you are a Dave Ramsey fan and you have those forms in front of you, the first line is what you give to God for that given budget cycle. So it is important. Folks, seek first His kingdom. Then these things will be added to you. In the context of that, in Matthew 6, at the end of that chapter, He says, then these things will be added. The whole thought is the worries of this life, including the clothes and the food that we are concerned about, even our lives. Seek His kingdom first, and then He's going to give you everything else. First. Seek Him first. Finally, each of us should give what we've already decided to give. And decided to give in our heart, not reluctantly, and I would add not religiously or under compulsion. The words from 2 Corinthians chapter 9. Folks, let's learn to give the best of what we have to God first. Our talents, our gifts, our monies, and our efforts. Thanks so much for listening today. I appreciate it.